Hey there, and welcome back to Baldur's Gate 3. My name is Pete, and today we complete another episode of this Honor Mode walkthrough with our Dark Urge Halfling Bard Sylvia Hairyfoot. Last time we left off, after encountering the Tiefling Bard Alfira, we also rescued the Tiefling boy Mirkon from the luring song of 4 harpies, and in doing so we have now finally completed most of what the Emerald Grove has to offer at this point. At the end of the episode then, we took a long rest, saw Astarion sneak off into the night, and in between episodes I haven't really done much, just some inventory management and recasting of a Longstrider and Speak with Animals, and with that I think we are good to go. Lae'zel returns for this leg of the adventure. We will likely also bring Astarion back soon. For approval reasons, however, he'll have to sit on the sidelines for just a few moments longer. And so let us now retrace our steps from the last episode, back through the secluded cove where we fought the harpies, and towards the Emerald Grove.
I'll be keeping an eye on you. Understand?
If I choose to kill you, you will not even see it.
My, what manner of place is this? A path to redemption? Or a road to damnation? Hard to say, for your journey is just beginning. What would suit the occasion? The words to a lullaby, perhaps. The mouse smiled brightly. It outfoxed the cat. Then down came the claw. And that, love, was that. They do know how to write them in Cormyr, don't they? Well met, I am Raphael. Very much at your service. It's not every day one meets such a cavalier sinner as yourself. A true, bloody pleasure.
Right, an unexpected and so far entirely unknown visitor trying his best to charm us, perhaps putting on a bit too much of a show, but as a bard I think we can sympathize, so let's play along. For the moment, what we say here has no consequences really, so mouse or cat, who are we dealing with?
Neither. The fox, rather. Hiding, in a word. A silent observer, about to break the silence. Of course, what I have to say merits some privacy, as well as some more, let's call it, refinement. This quaint little scene is decidedly too middle of nowhere for my tastes. Come. There, middle of somewhere.
Right, seems like Raphael is not just a charming showman, but powerful too. Let's not get distracted by that though, and try to find out where exactly he took us.
The House of Hope, where the tired come to rest, and the famished come to feed lavishly. Go on, partake, enjoy your supper. After all, it might just be your last.
Well, that doesn't sound threatening at all, but let's give him the benefit of the doubt for now. After all, he sought us out and went through some lengths to get us here, so what does he know?
Call it a ninth sense. What's better than a devil you don't know? A devil you do. Am I a friend? Potentially. An adversary? Conceivably. But a savior? That's for certain.
Okay, Mindflayers, goblins, and now apparently a devil too, which begs the question why Raphael would help us. After all, devils are not exactly known for their generosity, at least not without demanding a price in return.
Because my compassion is boundless. I stride among the needy, giving comfort where I can. And you're in dire need. 1 skull, 2 tenants, and no solution in sight. I could fix it all, like that.
So, a deal with the devil, honestly not entirely unfathomable considering our situation, but you may have noticed that our party members are with us in this conversation, and they will be much happier hearing us reject the offer.
And what is madness but a denial of reality? Still, I have a feeling you'll change your mind before it's changed for you. Try to cure yourself, shop around, beg, borrow, and steal. Exhaust every possibility until none are left. And when hope has been whittled down to the very marrow of despair, that's when you'll come knocking on my door. Hope. Such a tease.
Again, we will not let Raphael get under our skin and instead try to squeeze out whatever information we can. So where would we find him should we happen to change our mind?
I'll be around, watching you squirm like a tadpole through a nice juicy brain. All those pretty little symptoms, sundering skin, dissolving guts, they haven't manifested yet, have they? One might say you're a paragon of luck. I'll be there when it runs out.
Right, so that happens. A devil named Raphael has offered a bargain, and again I could see why a character in Sylvia's position could be tempted to take it. For now though, we are in no position to give a definitive answer. The people we are traveling with, however, all have opinions on what just happened, so let's speak to them, starting with Shadowheart.
Bloody hells. Literally. Just when I think I've got a grasp on our dilemma, a devil shows up. No matter. We've dealt with every other oddity thrown at us lately. We can handle this one too. Now, as for this Raphael, he knows our secret. He claims he can help. What do you make of him?
Well, her reaction sums it up quite nicely, and while we could make a wisdom check to peer into her mind here, the approval we gained from her earlier already gave it away. It's best we tell her not to trust Raphael.
No doubts at all. He seemed powerful and very knowledgeable about our problem. Not the worst prospect we've stumbled across. As long as you can look past what he is.
And again, it does sound like that's the one aspect we shouldn't look past, so let's stick to our opinion, earning us more of Shadowheart's approval.
Good. That's what I wanted to hear. I know people who work much like our new acquaintance does. You don't need a scourge or a rack to break people. Fear and self-doubt is sufficient. When actual pain comes, the victim's already done the heavy lifting for their torturer. There were no right answers with that devil. He was toying with his food. Us.
Right, it seems like she has some experience with people like Raphael. Obviously, we're going to dig a bit deeper here.
Cunning people. Private. And very dangerous at times. Perhaps you'll meet them one day. See? Sowing doubt is an old trick. Watch out for it. And for Raphael.
Now for a rather abrupt change of topic. Last time we took a long rest, we noticed a moment of attraction between Sylvia and Shadowheart. Let's bring that up again. And don't worry, this does not mean we're going to romance her for the rest of the game. It merely allows us to later make a choice in the first place.
I think I know what you mean. There's an undeniable rapport, and yet we haven't made time for each other. Time alone. Easily remedied, if you like. I know a place.
And let's agree, the rest will be resolved during a long rest later in the journey.
Not just yet. Let's choose our moment. Some quiet night, when the others are asleep and there's no distractions. I'll come for you.
Right, perhaps a welcome distraction from all this devil business, although we're right back to it as we now speak to Will.
The devil with the silver tongue. An old fairy tale my father read to me. The kind with a hero, a villain, and a moral. A farmer made a deal with the devil, so the story goes. In exchange for the farmer's dearest fruit, the devil granted him a bottomless coin purse. The farmer's dearest fruit, naturally, was no apple nor peach, but his beloved daughter. We can learn a lot from fairy tales, don't you think?
Sounds to me like Raphael's storytelling left an impression, but he offered much more than just tall tales, and we're here to find out what Will thinks about the proposal.
Refuse him no matter how tempting the offer, no matter how delicious the feast he lays out for you. The cost's always too great.
Well, he makes his opinion clear. Easy to grab some approval points then by agreeing with him.
That's because you still have hope. But when he becomes your last hope, remember this. He'll require of you only what you're least ready to part with. And then require more still. You might think you'd give up anything for a cure. But the devil won't take just anything. He'll take everything.
Right, 2 down. Up next then, Lae'zel.
This devil Raphael flaunts his paltry wings as if he wants to impress us. You saw the red dragon slaying his infernal kin above hell's fires, did you not? Next to a dragon, the devil's a gnat. When I am Kithrak, I will take my Queen Vlaakith his head as a trophy.
I'd argue she's more interested in making sure we don't overestimate Raphael's power. Taking his deal is obviously no option for her. Lae'zel has been insisting on finding a Githyanki crash since day one, so let's use this conversation to freshen up our Githyanki lore and ask about that Kithrak.
Githyanki knights, the riders that chase the Nautiloid. They are the commissars and enforcers of my Queen Vlaakith's will. Vlaakith bestows no greater honor. To wield a Kithrak's silver sword is my destiny. I will earn my queen's favor, and I will conquer every layer of hell should she command it.
Only one option to choose here, so let's go with it, although Lae'zel has already talked about Mindflayers being the Githyanki's arch-nemesis.
The Geich are my kind's mortal enemy. It is not unusual for the Kithrak to give chase, to penetrate the hells. This is unusual. But I'm not one to question the wisdom of my queen. I can see but to the horizon. Vlaakith's sight pierces the many planes.
Right, so much for our active party, but we have 2 more people in camp with opinions too, so let's go back there and speak to Astarion.
Now there's a bloody devil trailing after us. Well, this gets better and better. Shop around, he said. He seems sure we won't find anything. And he might be right. We've had no luck so far.
Technically correct, but we also haven't found Halsin or a Githyanki crash yet, so I'd agree there are still options.
Maybe. But all that, take your time, I'll wait, nonsense. He's playing with us. He reminds me of, well, someone I used to know. Someone that liked to play with people. Creatures like them don't play games, unless they know they can win.
A brief glimpse into Astarion's past here. Let's reassure him that we have no intentions of being or becoming Raphael's playthings. That'll earn us some approval.
Maybe. But he's not the only one spinning a web for us. This is no ordinary Mindflayer parasite. Who tampered with it, and why? What do they have planned for us? And why are we important enough that a devil comes knocking on our door? If we find those answers, we might have a chance.
Okay, Astarion suggesting that we find out more about what Raphael wants, a notion that Gale over here will share.
Do you feel as flattered as I do? Fighting to dine with a devil.
Now, I think the Arcana check here unlocks the 3rd dialogue option, and we'll go with that. It is indeed very suspicious that Raphael sought us out and has not yet named his price.
Don't let his bluster fool you. All that talk of desperation. merely illustrates his own. I think he wants something from us, badly. And in that knowledge lies our opportunity.
Now, that is an interesting thought, but what exactly could Raphael want from us, considering that we ourselves have little memory of who we actually are?
Our souls. But I suspect that's but his opening offer.
Let me play the devil's advocate. The man is too eager. Do not dismiss his offer out of hand.
If there's one quality all the denizens of the hells embody, it's ambition. A quality they share with many humans, come to think of it.
So, Gale taking this new development with keen interest, let's ask him how he would proceed for a small approval gain.
By figuring out his true intentions. Fact 1, there's something very strange and very powerful about our tadpoles. Fact 2, a devil offers to take it away. Devils aren't known to aid mortals out of simple kindness. Whatever Raphael wants, we must be the key to getting it, along with our tadpoles. So, I say for now, we wait. If I'm right, Raphael will seek us out again, and when he does, there's a mighty bargain to be made. Remember his Cormyrean rhyme? Down came the claw. Perhaps we should start growing our nails.
And there we go, Gale so far the only one in favor of seeing where this could go, and he's making a few good points. Let's keep all of this in mind and return to the Emerald Grove. Last episode, Mirkon, the boy we saved from the Harpies, told us to find Mol after rescuing him, so that's what we do next. Entering through the concealed hatch, our entire party can enter the Tiefling hideout, where Mol is quickly found.
I had a feeling you'd be back. Mirkon says you got him out of a tight spot with some harpies. Gotta say, I'm impressed. Anyway, you want to talk? Talk.
This short bit of dialogue is all we need from her, but let's look at her trait inventory one more time. You can see it here, the quest now officially completed, and we can sell her some unwanted items in exchange for a greater elixir of arcane cultivation, granting its user an extra second-level spell slot. Also in the hideout is Mirkon himself, so let's speak to him too.
You came! Here! Mol said I should thank you properly for the harpies, so I wrote you a story.
And before showing ourselves grateful for it, let us at least try to ask him for something a bit more tangible.
I don't have any gold. Sorry.
Well, no surprise here. Let's thank him for the story then, and be on our way.
It's about you. I hope you like it.
Mirkon's story is then added to our inventory. Feel free to pause to read it entirely. It basically praises our bravery, and Mirkon vows to never be scared again, just like us. This now concludes our business down here, so back up to the grove we go, where we do one last round with the local traders, starting with Damon.
Looking for steel? I have, well, something close.
And let's see if something close is close enough. And, well, it turns out it is, as we are purchasing a +1 padded armor, a light armor that will go on Astarion to make him a tiny bit harder to hit. Next stop, the mysterious Auntie Ethel.
Hello, Petal. Need anything? Any lotions or potions?
And again, we're going straight into the trade menu.
Hey, bother.
This time we purchase ingredients for a few useful potions, as well as Corellan's Grace, a staff granting its wielder a +2 bonus to saving throws if they're not wearing armor, a good everyday choice for Gale, unless the situation demands something more specifically tailored. Quick trading break then, as we head into the secluded chamber next to speak to Zevlor. We have not yet talked to him again after our conversation with Korga.
I heard what happened. Thank you for protecting the child. If the druids are this far gone, then it's not just goblins we have to fear. So we can risk violence here, or face it for certain on the road. Quite the choice, isn't it?
Now, before offering our help leading the tieflings out of the grove, let us see if there isn't any other solution. Maybe the tieflings can delay the ritual to buy us enough time to bring back Halsin.
You saw what they were willing to do to a child just for trying. It's Korga's influence. Without her twisting things, I believe the druids might see sense.
Now, as much as it would suit a Dark Urge character, we will not suggest getting rid of Korga. In a way, offering to help the tieflings escape will lead to a chance for even more bloodshed, as you'll see in just a moment.
It's good of you to offer, but there's a whole army of goblins out there. We'd need an army of our own to escort us safely to Baldur's Gate. And while I don't doubt your abilities, you're no army. There may be a way, though. Goblins are ill-disciplined. It's unlike them to organize so cleverly. Somebody must be leading them, bringing discipline to their ranks. Take out that leadership, and they'll scatter. The Blade of Frontiers has done what he can to help us prepare for the journey, and we are grateful. But it'll be a short journey if the goblins still own the roads.
By the Triad, there is only one correct answer. Refuse him, and we sentence these people to die.
Indeed, instead of killing Korga, we can now agree to kill the entire goblin leadership, and if we do so straight away and without asking for payment, we even earn a nice approval boost from Will.
Everyone in this camp depends on it. Thank you. We'll be ready to leave as soon as you give word.
And there we go, one more reason to investigate that goblin camp. We already have an inn through Sazar, the prisoner we freed a while back, and we can now finish up in the grove by speaking to Aaron.
Need anything else?
What we need is items, good ones ideally.
Of course, but please, remember, you're not the only one in need.
More alchemy ingredients then, but also the somewhat expensive gloves of missile snaring, allowing their user to reduce incoming ranged damage by 1d10 plus their dexterity modifier. This can be a substantial reduction, and there's a reason these are marked as rare. Nonetheless, at this point we only have about 1500 silver left over. Now, having gained that approval for Will earlier, we can now swap him out and bring Astarion back into the party, who now receives that +1 padded armor to boost his AC from 14 to 15. He can also take Sylvia's Gloves of Power for a +1 bonus to sleight of hand, and his light crossbow is upgraded with the magical +1 version. Sylvia, meanwhile, equips the Gloves of Missile Snaring, and with that we are good to go. Let's leave the Emerald Grove behind. It will likely be a while until we return.
These tieflings prove fragile. I've a mind to end their misery myself.
Calm yourself. They're survivors, not soldiers.
I failed to see the distinction.
So, Gith, aren't you worried your kind will punish you for consorting with us?
My name is Lae'zel Chucky, and my kin will understand my need for servants. They will help you, but only if I ask.
Following some chatter between Shadowheart and Lae'zel, we now climb up some rocks to the southwest of the Emerald Grove. A rocky plateau offers 3 alchemy ingredients to pick up, 2 balsam and a dragon egg mushroom, and then a ladder leads to what was once probably a watch post, now partially crumbled after the Nautiloid crash. Still, there are some valuables to be found, gold and a ring in the chest here, and a very useful silver pendant on a skeleton, a pendant that comes with the guidance cantrip.
Necklace matches the sigil in that cave. The Harpers were busy.
Indeed, this is the Harper Outpost we read about back in episode 2, the pendant arguably the biggest treasure in here, as guidance is one of the main reasons why Shadowheart has been in the party pretty much all the time. With this we can be a bit more flexible. For now it goes on to Lae'zel. In the barrel here then, 3 healing potions and an odd looking rock nearby.
That might be worth a look.
At the back of the crevice lies a bag enfolded in the chitinous squabbling of spiders. A shiny gold coin pokes from its mouth.
If we want to progress here, we have no other choice but to pass a nature check. You can see it here, we can now add guidance from 2 sources, although of course the bonuses do not stack.
The creatures clutch the pouch possessively. You have no doubt a spider egg is nestled within.
And very conveniently, as a bard, we get a unique option here to calm the spiders without a skill check.
Your voice draws their attention. They are suspicious, then curious, and finally, at peace. One by one, the spiders retreat to the rear of the crevice, lulled by your murmurs.
Right then, let's grab the bag and the riches within.
You stash the bag. Something clinks among the coins.
So, a pouch has been received, inside some gold, but arguably more interesting, a spider egg sac. This can be thrown to unleash the creatures inside. Looks like we're done here then, but we're not. Let's interact with the rock a second time.
Several spiders rest in the rear of the crevice.
Now, this does not grant us a Dark Urge inspiration, but we want to crush the spiders anyway to maximize our XP gain.
The infuriated spiders pour in all directions like sand. The swarm is coming.
Right, time for combat. 4 Crag spiders have emerged from the crevice, although even on honor mode they are not much of a challenge, sporting 7 hit points and an AC of 9. So, let's be quick about this. An offhand attack from Astarion delivers 14 points of damage. Somebody please explain to me why. Sneak attack shouldn't trigger on this as far as I know. His second offhand attack then deals 5 points against the next enemy, who's swiftly killed by an offhand strike from Sylvia. With her main hand then, she misses spider number 3, but Shadowheart has a +1 hunting shortbow and her shot lands. Astarion can deal the killing blow with his +1 crossbow, leaving only 1 spider standing for Lae'zel. Lovely, that went about as smooth as I had hoped. We gain a grand total of 12 experience points, and nothing else. The spiders unfortunately don't have any loot. So let's head back down and keep going in a western direction.
Do you think your kin search for you, Lae'zel?
I know they do not. It is my responsibility to cleanse myself.
They pursued the Nautiloid. Perhaps they were trying to free you.
A vain notion. I am one of many, and will not be a burden to my queen.
Following some more chatter and the acquisition of some mugwort and a shield we don't really have a use for at the moment, we can now pick up a second mugwort and note the bridge leading further west. We will not cross it just yet. Instead, we head north, pick a rogue's morsel and spot some company.
People up ahead. Something's wrong.
3 people on the path ahead, admittedly one of them looking to be in rough shape. Let's approach and find out more.
You're a true soul. You can't die. Please, stay with us.
I don't think he's conscious. Can you hear us, Ed?
You, not a step closer.
A strange symbol glows, marked on their flesh, and something within you stirs in response.
Right, this interaction marks the first time we can use our tadpole connection with a non-party member, and for the purposes of plot progression, it is very important that we do so. The wisdom check here only a DC of 2, so for a halfling pretty much impossible to fail.
I'm so sorry. It's our brother, True Soul Edowin. He's injured and I wasn't thinking.
A shiver runs across your mind. You feel sated. The injured man locks eyes with you. The parasite writhes in your head.
Here, it actually doesn't matter much what we do. The result will always be the same, so we might as well hold his stare.
Your minds intertwine. You see his siblings, Andrick and Brynna, new recruits. Yours to shepherd.
Protect them. Mine, the true soul. She will... She...
Edwin! Ed! Please! He's with the Absolute now.
A true soul. Thank the Absolute. Edowin, our brother, he was chosen, like you.
Do you have orders for us? We were reporting to Edowin.
Right, looks like we've taken Edowin's place as a true soul, and what exactly that is, we can now ask the two of them to explain.
What? Are you testing us?
A true soul, like you, has been chosen by the Absolute. You speak with her voice. Your words are her command. She grants you the power to enforce her will. And when the time comes, the true souls, you, will rule.
Oh, I like these two. All zeal and no brains.
Now let's play along so that we don't give away that we have little interest in joining their cult. Obviously, this was all just a big test.
I'm sorry, true soul. I only repeated what I thought I knew. It seems the Absolute still has a great deal to teach me.
Let's ask about the druid Halsin next. After all, he was investigating the cult of the Absolute somewhere out here in the wilds.
I don't know any druids.
Which now begs the question, why are these guys out here then?
We know that all too well, man, but the Absolute sent us here.
We're looking for fugitives, survivors from that ship that crashed farther west of here.
Survivors like us, I assume, but revealing that would not end well, so let's inquire further about these fugitives.
We don't know what they look like, but anyone who survived that crash is bound to be injured. That's enough to get us started. The Absolute wants them found. At any cost.
On to their brother Edowin then. There are no signs of a fight nearby, and yet he seemed gravely injured.
An oil bear. It had him on the ground before we had a chance to react. We managed to drag him away, but the beast's claws had already done their work. I told Edwin not to look in that cave. It was filthy with oil bear tracks.
Important dialogue choice here. We want the two of them to go after that owlbear, not only for companion approval, but also as a backup for ourselves.
What?
It killed one of us. It killed Edowin. It's an enemy of the Absolute. You're right, madam. The beast must be destroyed.
The cave is just ahead. It was too much for us before, but if you could help us, True Soul, we may stand a chance.
They spoke of the Absolute. Same as that goblin, Zaza. Curious.
Looks like the Absolute's drawing all sorts to become followers. Impressive in a way.
Right, our entire party now wishes to speak to us as Brynna and Andrick run off ahead. Seems like our use of the tadpole has raised some questions. I'm not quite sure whether the line from Astarion here is bugged or simply not voiced. Either way, his assessment is correct. Continue, please.
Ignore it. Deny it. This is nothing but a disease, and every use will sicken us further.
Nonsense. Any power freely given is a power well received, and this is a valuable power indeed.
It's only valuable if we understand it, and we don't. Not yet, at least.
Now, all three of them make good points, so the dialogue choice here is mostly about approval, of which we can gain some with Astarion if we call these powers useful, which they undoubtedly are.
My point exactly. I'm so glad you agree.
Right, now that leaves us with the body of Edowin, which we want to approach now for a closer look.
Strange power resonates within the corpse. It calls to you. Most corpses feel like toys before you, to be played with and discarded when you tire. This body seems different. A friend calls out from the corpse, desperate to be freed. Why let its host's memories go to waste? The tadpole has absorbed it all. Its experience could nourish you, strengthen you.
Unsurprisingly, Edowin has a tadpole in his head, a tadpole that we could now grab by nudging it in the right direction. Let's see how this goes. Okay, we have obtained 30 experience points and yet another Mindflayer parasite specimen. We already collected one from Nettie's chamber a while back, this here now number 2. Unfortunately though, we still cannot do anything with it.
The parasite is stubborn. It refuses both to leave or to allow itself to be used as you desire.
What we can do, however, is loot Edowin's body for plenty of sausages, before we then follow Brynna and Andrick down towards the Owlbear Cave. Some alchemy ingredients and a pair of leather boots can be found along the way.
Zell, how would you punish someone who wronged you?
Wrong me how?
Oh, say, murder or theft?
Killing is good. It culls the weak. But theft would be paid for painfully, 1,000 times over.
Good to know.
More chatter between the two ladies, and we have reached our destination.
Owlbear tracks. Its nest must be nearby.
Indeed, if Brynna and Andrick weren't already giving it away, the owlbear nest is in the cave up ahead. An animal carcass and a hunter stash nearby are both empty, and so we could now head inside, but we won't. Instead, we want to return to camp, as our progression on the world map has unlocked a unique long rest event, and for those with some Baldur's Gate 3 experience among you, just let it play out. I'll explain everything afterwards.
Hark! Hark! A camp, and Hogma willing. Some friendly faces. Well met. Goblins roughed me up and stole my hose when they heard me singing hatchling love. You wouldn't have half a bedroll for a lost minstrel, would you? I can pay for my board with music, if you care for it.
So, we are visited by a dragonborn at night, perhaps even a fellow bard. Let's find out more about who we're dealing with.
Quil Grootslang. Soon to be published in the songbook Affairs in Ancient Abir, Songs of Draconic Love. If I make it to Baldur's Gate with my manuscript, that is.
So, a bard indeed, but traveling all alone in the wilds. Dangerous business from our experience.
I know. It's not the first time I've been robbed. I am only glad I didn't get hurt.
Well, it wouldn't feel right to send a bard in search of rest away, so let us welcome her to camp for the night.
I'll just stay one night. Promise. Then I'll be gone. I know I'm ice blood, but I get cold so fast. I need to be by the fire.
Alright, seems like we now have a visitor, and since none of our companions have anything new to say at this time, let us speak to Quil again right away.
Thanks for the fire.
Now, as a bard ourselves, we do of course have a professional interest in her work, so let us inquire about her music first of all.
I prepared a dense manuscript of new love chants to be throat sung in Timantha style. You probably don't know, but the Dragonborn clans arrange their children's marital unions. Love is considered irrelevant to egg duty. But I've never even been kissed. And I can't stop myself from dreaming. I don't think most of us stop hoping. Ever, really. Not even when duty stamps us down. And that's what the songbook's about. Lost, lingering love. Never acted on. Never spoken.
Well, doesn't that sound awfully romantic? And yet, let us not overlook the fact that Quil clearly had to leave her clan behind to go on this journey.
My clan name has been struck. I named myself anew after a long-dead poet.
Up next, we can now ask her about her inspiration, if you will, considering her lack of any sort of romantic experience.
Is there someone who you think you might love? Oh, come on. I won't tell.
Okay, interesting question, and the following conversation is definitely made more interesting by selecting someone here instead of rejecting it outright. Let's go with Shadowheart, once again though, just because we had to pick someone, and she's the only companion with whom the entire subject has even been broached so far.
And have you said so? Do they know even one little bit of how you really feel?
And yes, it is definitely too soon for that. Again, no promises we're ever going to romance Shadowheart at all.
There's a special feeling to having love all to yourself, don't you think? For no one to know. I grew up smiling about my little secrets to myself. I would have been laughed at if I admitted to anyone how I felt. It is not our kind's way. But I have my whole life ahead of me. Things will be different now I'm on the Sword Coast. I can't wait for what is coming next.
That is, of course, assuming she makes it to Baldur's Gate, which, considering her mode of travel, might not be such a sure thing.
I've been given a great chance. My song score, Affairs in Ancient Abir Songs of Draconic Love, is due to be published in the Gate. I'm in a big rush, though. I fear that if I don't get there in the next few days, they're going to print some kobold bone flute instrumentals instead.
Well, being in a rush on the road could become dangerous, and she doesn't really strike me as the type to hold her own in a fight.
It's a miracle I'm still alive.
Well, it sure is. Let's lighten the mood a bit and ask her to sing a song for us.
Oh my. Are you sure? Are you really sure?
And why not? After all, what's the worst that could happen?
Spoken like someone who's never heard a dragonborn throat song. This one, Sky Swaying, is about what it might feel like to mate in the air, in the age where wings were yet with us.
Right. Definitely some love language that. Seems like every bard has their own style though.
Oh! There are 69 more verses. I'm only just beginning.
So, here we are then. Quil wants to spend the night and we can go to bed now, although we will only have a partial rest. After all, we did not consume any spell slots or other replenishable resources, so there is no need to consume camp supplies either.
You open your eyes with a lurch, and you are not in your bed. You stand above a body which is in a state of gore nearly beyond recognition. The body of that scared girl who asked for nothing more than a night of shelter. Her blood covers you, and its warmth feels like the embrace of an old friend. You recall nothing of how you ended up here, but your head pounds and aches.
Right, welcome to the part where the Dark Urge story really gets going. Sylvia clearly involved in Quil's demise somehow. Let's attempt the intelligence check here to find out more. The DC of 12 needs to be beaten without any outside help, and it looks like this won't be good enough, so we'll have to re-roll using one of our inspiration points.
A single moment comes to you, the flash of abject terror in her eyes, blood spilling from her lips. No time for last words.
Okay, almost a sure confirmation of Sylvia's guilt. An investigation check can perhaps confirm it. Despite a DC of only 7 though, we once again fall short, so we'll have to use our last reroll.
There are dozens and dozens of wounds on the corpse. The killer did not stop savaging it, even when she was long gone. And your dominant arm aches. It aches from stabbing, over and over. No matter how it appears, the body is there, and her blood is on your hands. The question flows through your mind. Who are you, really, that you could be guilty of such bitter business?
Right, some flavor choices then. How do we want to take all this? And I think the inquisitive mind inside Miss Hairyfoot is itching to know what drove her to this.
Something wicked must have woken you. The contemptible pervert within must have lavished slash after slash upon the girl. But where, oh where could that monster have come from? If only you knew yourself better. You don't have much time for reflection now. You need to act. You may only have a few moments before the others awaken and begin to cast blame for the hot sin before you.
So, almost time to face the party. Let us at least wash away the blood first. We can still make a decision about telling or not telling them afterwards.
You scrub yourself until your hands are cold and raw. While your body starts to feel clean, the blood doesn't seem to leave.
We fail a passive perception check, but get an arcana check to investigate the blood on our hands. Perhaps there is something special about it.
There is no magic binding this blood to your body, only guilt. You shake your head, and it seems to go away, only then. If you are fortunate, no soul will be able to know you were behind this murder. You wonder if your misdeed will be noticed.
Another waif dead before her time. I wonder how it happened. She was brutalized. The killer knifed her many times after she was dead. Was it you?
Okay, so this is in my opinion a very important part in the Dark Urge story, the choice to either reveal what happened or to keep it a secret from the party. And in my opinion, it is best to be at least somewhat honest with the people that we also want to open up to us, so even if it costs us some approval for Gale and Will, let us confess, at least to what we think happened.
Why? Was her innocence just an act?
Shadowheart gives us another out, but we're not going to deceive anyone. While Sylvia does take the blame, she did not have herself under control, and that is something our party members should know.
The parasite must be affecting you deeply.
The worm in your head has never slept more peacefully. You know in your heart it was something deeper, hungrier.
Another out then, blaming the parasite, but we know it is not responsible. The game meanwhile does not really allow us to say that, so let's pick the next best line.
Even if it was the worm, this was peculiar indeed. I'll be watching.
An uneasy feeling lingers in the air. As the Inquisition departs, you are left alone with a familiar headache.
And this choice, I think, is one that we make with some conviction. We will vow for this to never happen again.
Every one of your instincts screams against the saccharine thought. You feel close to fainting again.
So then, here we are, after some troubling events. First, a devil offered us a bargain, then we stumbled into being called a true soul by followers of the Absolute, and finally the Dark Urge struck in the middle of the night. Now, I said earlier that I'd explain a few things about this nighttime encounter. They do contain some light spoilers though, so you have been warned. Now, under normal circumstances, the bard appearing in camp is not this dragonborn, but Alfira from the Emerald Grove. Since Alfira can play a not entirely unimportant role in some of the game's later chapters though, her involvement in this scene is obviously a bit of a problem for Dark Urge players. Now, there is a way around having her involved, and the experienced players among you may have already asked themselves why Quil showed up. After all, I did not show that way around, and that is because I did not want to spoil anything too early. In between episodes, however, here's what we did to Alfira to prevent her from appearing in camp. It's actually pretty easy. You only need to make sure you toggle non-lethal attacks on so that we don't accidentally kill her. Then we sneak Sylvia and Lae'zel behind Alfira, and we wail on her with a dual-wielding melee strike from stealth.
Your aggression has won you no friends. Any further violence could be met with the same.
This is immediately followed by a warning and a steep -20 attitude penalty, but the Bard still has 8 hit points remaining, so Lae'zel needs to strike next with the Everburn Blade. And there we go, 10 XP earned and Alfira is knocked unconscious. This only works with melee and unarmed attacks though. In this state, she is not capable of appearing in camp, and the game replaces her with Quil the Dragonborn, preserving Alfira to appear later in the story. Now, admittedly, this is one of those things that can rightfully be considered a bit cheesy. Call it having a premonition, if you will. But this is a completionist playthrough, and having Alfira alive for the remainder of the game definitely adds to the story in my opinion, so I considered it justified. The length of this entire affair at camp, by the way, is also the reason why I did not do the owlbear fight first. That fight plus the exploration of the cave can take a while, and adding this scene on top of it all would have pushed the episode way past the 1 hour mark, likely closer to 90 minutes. So we'll tackle that next time. On Honor Mode, the owlbear fight will actually be our introduction to legendary actions. Not sure if I'm looking forward to that, to be honest, but I hope you are. In the meantime, I also hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, then I would be very happy if you could leave a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing and want to support me and my channel further, then you can go ahead and subscribe to stay up to date, grab some merch over on shop.petecomplete.com, become a channel member or a Patreon supporter. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.